Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, Marie Curie, and Leonardo da Vinci. What do all these remarkable individuals have in common? They weren't just smart. They were relentlessly curious, mentally flexible, and able to connect ideas faster than most people. And here's the key point. High intelligence isn't reserved for scientists, artists, or mathematicians. And being in those fields doesn't automatically mean someone has a high IQ either. IQ, intelligence quotient, is one way to describe cognitive performance. It reflects how well you handle logical reasoning, problem solving, pattern recognition, and how efficiently your brain processes information under pressure. But intelligence comes in many forms: emotional intelligence, social intelligence, practical intelligence, bodily kinesthetic intelligence, strategic intelligence, and something that becomes extremely valuable after 50, decision intelligence, the ability to stay calm, see the full picture, and choose well even when you're tired or stressed. An IQ style test evaluates only one narrow aspect: logic and processing. But it's still useful, especially for men over 50, because it trains three things that tend to decline if you don't use them: attention control, working memory, and mental speed. Not because you suddenly become less smart, but because life becomes routine. And routine is comfortable, but it can make the brain lazy. So instead of giving you a multiple choice quiz, we're going to do something better. A brain workout that uses the same types of problems, but with real explanations and practical takeaways. You're going to get the benefit without the artificial pick option A, B, C format, and if you want to measure yourself, you still can. Pause the video for 10 seconds on each mini challenge, try to solve it, then unpause and compare your thinking to the solution. Let's begin. First mental challenge: counting patterns under pressure. Here's the task. How many times does the digit 4 appear between 1 and 100? Most people guess too low because they count only 4, 14, 24. And forget the 40s. The correct total is 20. Why? Because in the ones place, 4 appears 10 times. 4, 14, 24, 34, 44, 54, 64, 74, 84, 94, and in the tens place it appears another 10 times, 40 through 49. That's 20 total. Men over 50. The skill here is scanning instead of grinding. When you're tired, don't force raw effort, switch to a system. Your brain stays sharp by using strategies. Second mental challenge: pattern completion. These are the puzzles where you see a sequence of shapes or symbols and you must predict what comes next. The biggest mistake people make is assuming the pattern is random or purely visual. In most IQ-style sequences, the pattern is consistent and usually follows one of these rules: rotation, mirror flip, step increase, step decrease, alternating changes, or combining two rules at once. A practical trick: ask yourself, what changes every step? Then ask, is it constant, or does it increase? If nothing changes consistently, look for two alternating patterns. Third mental challenge: letter to number coding. Imagine a word is converted into numbers. One example: Earth becomes 3,167. That means each letter maps to a number: E3, A1, R9, T6, H7. Now the brain skill isn't memorizing the letters, it's understanding the decoding principle and applying it calmly. This is exactly like real life after 50. You're constantly decoding patterns: bills, contracts, schedules, financial decisions, text settings. Training decoding strengthens your ability to learn new systems without frustration. Fourth mental challenge: sequence logic with addition. A classic pattern is where each number equals the sum of the previous two. When you see a sequence like that, don't stare at the whole line. Test it quickly. Does 5 plus 8 equal 13? Does 8 plus 1 equal 21? If yes, you found the engine. This trains working memory because you must hold two numbers in mind while calculating the next. Fifth mental challenge: counting hidden shapes. Counting triangles in an image is not an eyesight test. It's an attention test. Your brain must slow down, zoom out, and avoid double counting. The reason this matters for men over 50 is simple. Attention control protects memory. If your attention is scattered, your memory looks bad. But the real problem is attention, not intelligence. A useful method: count small triangles first, then medium, then large. System beats chaos. Sixth mental challenge: category filtering. When you see a list of words and you need to find the odd one out, the hidden skill is classification. Your brain must choose the category, then test each item against it. For example, excitement, happiness, and hope are generally positive. Nervousness is generally negative. For men over 50, classification is more than a puzzle skill, it's a life skill. It helps you separate noise from signal. What matters today, what doesn't, what's urgent, what's not. 7th mental challenge, grid logic. These puzzles often hide one rule. Every row, column, or square adds up to the same total. Once you spot that constant, the missing value becomes simple subtraction. That's also how strong decision-making works. Find the fixed rule, then solve what's missing. Without a rule, you're guessing. With a rule, you're confident. 8th mental challenge, rotation sequences. Many shape sequences rotate clockwise or counterclockwise in steps. The step size often changes too. Rotate 2 positions, then 3, then 4. This trains visual spatial intelligence, which is important after 50 because it supports coordination, driving awareness, navigation, and even balance. Visual spatial decline isn't inevitable, it's often just underused. 9th mental challenge, letter patterns based on numbers. Sometimes letters represent the first letters of numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you follow that logic, you can predict the next letter. The takeaway: always ask, is this abstract pattern secretly a language pattern? IQ puzzles love disguising simple rules. 10th mental challenge, alternating sequences. A powerful type of puzzle uses 2 sequences interwoven. For example, the odd positions go down by 1, while the even positions go up by 1. This trains mental flexibility, the ability to hold 2 rules at the same time. That's especially useful after 50, because multitasking in real life isn't doing 10 things at once. It's switching rules without getting stressed. 11th mental challenge, deduction from statements. These puzzles give you a few facts, and you must determine a relationship, like who is youngest, oldest, or middle. The key is to lock in one fact at a time and eliminate impossibilities. For men over 50, this is the core of strategic thinking. Reduce uncertainty by removing what cannot be true. Strong thinkers don't chase every possibility, they eliminate. 12th mental challenge, line count progression and color alternation. A common visual logic rule is increased by 1 line each step while something else alternates, like color or orientation. This trains your ability to notice 2 layers, a quantitative rule, more lines, and a qualitative rule, color alternates. That's exactly how you keep your brain sharp. You train it to track more than 1 dimension. 13th mental challenge, equations under time pressure. Mental math in IQ puzzles is often simple, but it tests calmness. The more you panic, the slower you become. The solution is not be smarter. The solution is be smoother. After 50, the best brain upgrade is not speed, it's clarity. Clarity is what gives you speed without stress. 14th mental challenge, fractions in real life. 1/4 of 2/3 of 6,000 equals 1,000. The method matters more than the answer. 2/3 of 6,000 is 4,000. 1/4 of 4,000 is 1,000. Why this is useful? Fractions show up everywhere. Finances, discounts, interest, dosing instructions, time planning. When you can do this calmly, you stay in control. 15th mental challenge, final pattern completion. The last puzzle in these sets usually combines 2 rules, rotation plus alternation or increase plus mirror flip. The trick is to not rush. Look for the simplest rule first. If it doesn't work, add a second rule. Don't invent 5 rules at once. Now, let's talk about what your performance means, but in a way that actually helps you. If you struggled on many of these, it doesn't mean your IQ is low. It usually means one of 3 things is happening. You're rusty, you're distracted, or you're stressed. And those are fixable. The brain responds fast to training, especially when you train the fundamentals: sleep, movement, and focus challenge. If you did well, that's great, but don't stop. The smartest men are the ones who keep their brain hungry. The brain hates boredom. Boredom is where sharpness fades. Here's the most practical brain plan for men over 50, and this is where the real value is. Start with 10 minutes per day of cognitive training. Not 1 hour once a week, 10 minutes daily. Choose 1 type per day: pattern puzzles, math, memory, or deduction. Add walking. Yes, walking. Daily brisk walking improves blood flow to the brain and supports attention and mood. If you want mental clarity, you need circulation. Protect sleep like it's medicine. Poor sleep makes you feel less intelligent even when your IQ hasn't changed because your processing speed and attention drop. A sharp man sleeps like it's part of his job. Eat like your brain matters. Hydrate, prioritize protein, and avoid constant sugar spikes. Your brain runs on stable energy. And learn something new with your hands. A musical instrument, chess, a new language, light woodworking, even drawing. Hand plus brain learning builds new connections faster than passive watching. Now I want you to do something simple. In the comments, write your age range, 50-55, 56-60, 61-65, or 66+, and tell me honestly, which type of puzzle was hardest for you? Counting, rotation, math, deduction, or pattern completion. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to Curiosity Code and stay with me because in the next video we'll do a sharper brain challenge, but also a real plan. How to improve memory, focus, reaction time, and mental endurance after 50 without complicated routines. See you in the next one, and until then, stay curious.